keeps us in our tracks. Bravely we prove in our striving, trudging together each day. Where there's a will, there's a way.
I like how the first thing you probably heard was meow. I should probably make sure my stuff is, because I had to reconnect it. Nope, that is wrong. That is supposed to be. Why is my. Oh, that would do it. You can still hear me, but. Darn it. This is why I don't want to switch my equipment. There we go. All right. Sound probably changed a little bit, but that's okay. That's okay. I bet this is for sure. I chat tonight or Friday. Yeah, things are already moving. Hey, Amber, I want to tell you something just real quick because I keep forgetting to tell you. I wasn't asking central office to list Al-Anon meetings for us. I was telling them what kind of club we had. That was it. And it got confused. So, but I am so glad you took that over. It worked out so much better. It worked out so much better. And it, it feels more like the right way to do it. So, which is cool. I think that's so cool. People are noticing what we're doing. Yesterday, yeah, which is fair because a lot of people come in and try and do stupid things. So you can't really blame Abby for being protective. Yep, you can't. So I get the whole guilty until proven innocent thing. All right. I'll just sit here and wait. I'm just kidding. But somebody who loves Al-Anon saw that what Club Trudge was doing, and they reached out and said, hey, can we bring Al-Anon in while you're doing this? And I was like, fuck yeah. That's exactly what is supposed to happen. That is exactly what was supposed to happen. God says it's time. So I'm hoping in March when we go in person on Thursdays also that we're going to be bringing Al-Anon. So yay, success, man. Some successes. Here in the next couple weeks, we're going to be starting the Pueblo Rescue Mission podcast. Yeah, first one went pretty well. I'm hoping our Al-Anons, I don't have control over it, but I'm hoping our Al-Anons understand the need for hybrid. And that's something that we'll be talking about. If they need help with it, then I will help them with it. But I'm also taking over communications at the church. So in other words, I'm going to get some better internet in there. We can do. So anyway, let's talk about the topic here. Come here. Welcome to Daily Trudge. My name is Dion. Come here. You have been whining all day. He wants his girlfriend upstairs. So if you're here, please say hello, whether you're watching the live or the rewatch. All right. So this topic is kind of a sticky wicket. It's a sticky wicket, my friends. It is. Because do we really have control over other people? Are we allowing other people to control us? But that's not really what the topic is about. Right? What the topic is about was the behavior that I had while I was drinking, and it was unacceptable. This topic has to do with reasons why we get sober. That'd be a good topic for it, also. Um, you are watching the live. You are live with us, Chris. I promise you. Um, yeah, because sometimes you're watching it and it seems like I do it so much, so it's not on you guys. I've been trying to. Did you know that you can watch it straight from the website too? It's on the front page. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, this came up because we're talking in the meeting, and the reasons that I got sober was there was a lot of pain in the house, a lot of pain, and me being an empath. The thing with alcohol is it tampers it tampers um my empathy, which is one reason why I used it, because I didn't want to fucking feel. I don't want to feel everything everybody was feeling. Drove me crazy, right? Hi, Michelle. Good to see you. Good to see you. Um, when I woke up this morning, I wanted revenge. I had some dreams about my brothers and some of the things that happened growing up, and um, so it was a tough one waking up today. It took me a little bit, right? Um, and yes, this all leads up, and the thing is I had no qualms about what I was doing. Like, if I snuck out of the house, I walked out the front door. I didn't sneak out the window. I usually came back through the window, but actually my friends utilized the window more than I did. But I would just, I'd walk out the front door because I wanted to make sure the house was locked. I don't. At least I was thinking of them, right? But see, my brothers just never got caught, and they did some pretty bad things. And sometimes I wonder if they're ever going to bring that stuff to justice and stuff. And I allow this stuff to control me. It's not a resentment, but even this morning I was like, it's like, God, I'm tired of praying for these motherfuckers. All it does is remind. When I pray for them, all it does is just remind me of them, and I don't even want to think about them. Anybody else go through stuff like that? I just don't ever want to think about them again. But because of that, it pops up all the time. I'll be scrolling and there'll be a post that'll say, "What were you doing in 1984?" Well, I know you were all having fun, but I was locked up. I go through something much different. I go through flashbacks once when I see that stuff sometimes. But the reason that this came up is I was talking in the meeting, I was talking about the difference of when I sobered up. So the first time I sobered up, I was 18. Okay. And the repercussions from it weren't as big as when I would get sober when I was 45. Now, granted, when I was 18, I was living on Skid Row. I was by myself. It was definitely a different situation. I was just as much an alcoholic then as when I was at 45. The difference would be how much alcohol I put into my body between that time. It was the only difference. Because the thing is when I drink alcohol, I become an entirely different person. I will change automatically, and I can't help it. No, Mr. Hyde will come out, and Mr. Hyde don't give a fuck about you. No, he doesn't. Mr. Hyde was my security blanket for a long time. I was put. I wasn't. I didn't always put myself in these dangerous situations. Sometimes I was put in these situations. Now, was it because of my actions? Sure. Okay. But it just didn't make much sense to me to put me in situations where I would have to learn how to be a better liar, how to be a better manipulator. And I became very, very good at it by the age of 15. Okay. There was this one therapist my mom wanted me to see, and I was home at this time. I think I'd just come out of Aurora shelter. Yeah, because I remember thinking, why'd they let me out? I remember thinking, I'm like, I'm going home. I was actually surprised. It didn't last long. That's why I don't really usually count them. But my mom wanted me to go see this therapist, and I was in Littleton. Okay, this is 1985. Okay, and she wanted me to go downtown to this therapist, which I was perfectly capable of doing. I'd already ridden the. I didn't count. My parents never took me anywhere. I always rode the bus. Me and the Zero, we were good friends even at that point. And I was against it. And so I'm like, fine, I'll go. So I went. I sat down with the greatest therapist in Colorado, and I proceeded to tell him, fuck you. I don't want your help. That was it. See, even by 15, I knew how to control other people. I knew the trick. Willingness. Ooh, see, all I had to do was say I wasn't willing, and I knew you'd stop helping me. I knew that. That's why I do not determine other people's willingness, because they're war point. Right, so see how this control goes on? Yeah. So when I got sober this time at 45, okay, I still had this knowledge, and I knew that it was my actions that was literally killing everybody in the family. And I hated it. I hated it so much. I wanted no control. I did not want my actions to affect anybody else. It was the one thing that drove me nuts, and it drives me nuts to this day. When I hurt somebody I love, man. Okay, I beat the crap out of myself. I do. Okay, I kind of revert back a little bit, right? Now I've gotten better at this. But the thing is like, it's like I've messed up so much that there's this accumulation that just adds on to that. And I'm trying to, it's like the bad stuff I did was this big, but the good stuff I did is only right here. I'm trying to catch up, right? But that was the reason why I was like, I just couldn't do it anymore. I could see the pain in my wife's eyes, and all I could think was, Dion, she doesn't fucking deserve this. She deserves better than you, Dion. So I had to make a decision. Yeah. That's a great point, Michelle. That's a great point. Not good spirits either. My Mr. Hyde is the kind of guy where the four horsemen came up and I said, "Hey dudes, how you doing?" They handed me a horse and off we went. We're the kind of people that ride those horses to the gates of hell. We pound on them and say, "Open up, we want our liquor." It's us. It was a battle for my soul, and I was losing. I was losing. I didn't, though. I didn't. Do I still have control over others? You bet your ass I do. Now, do we want to control others? No, I don't. I find that highly uncomfortable. So, how do we work with it? Because, we're still going to have the same thoughts. We want to put these things across, right? Well, humility, transparency. Transparency is probably the number one thing, or i.e., accountability. Hi, Ingrid. Good to see you. And that was the problem. Now I can actually look my wife in the eye. That's the difference. I couldn't look her in the eye before. Mm-mm. In fact, I haven't told this story in a while. If you don't know already, my wife and I are very, 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 very close. Okay, and we always have been. We've always been that way. And she was my girlfriend. My wife Shannon now was my girlfriend when I was 18 and I got sober the first time. And even at one point, I spoke on the Capitol steps with the governor. I was 19 at the time, homeless. And we had just done this drug-free march, and there were thousands and thousands of people in the audience. And they asked me to speak, and Shannon was with me then. She was with me when I made those plaques back there. She's always been with me at all these integral parts of my life. Okay. Now, the day I saw her, okay, and this has never happened with anybody else in my life, I knew she needed to be in my life. She was 16 at the time, I think, 16, 17. And I knew right then and there that she needed to be a part of my life. Well, at one point, I decided that, everybody kind of left, and I knew that I was hurting people. So my decision was that I was going to move out to California. I was going to drink myself to death. I was just going to party till I died. I figured if I was going to be homeless, I might as well do it somewhere warm. I went out there. I was supposed to have a sales job. I ended up in a trap house where I ended up. And I got out of there. Somehow I found a job in what I do, a pretty decent job. I never went to the beach. I never even went to the beach while I was there. I was too drunk. I never did anything. And one weekend, I was on Facebook and I got a friend request from Shannon, and I wasn't going to accept it. I didn't want her to see what I had become. I didn't want her to see it. I was so embarrassed. I was so shameful because she knew the truth. She knew the truth about Dion. But I accepted it, and you can imagine what happened. Within a month, we were back together. I moved back out here, and the rest is history. If that friend request right there wouldn't have happened, I don't know that I would have gotten sober. I really don't. Between my mom hounding me and Shannon supporting me. And when I say my mom hounding me, it was in a good way. That's what moms get to do that. That's their job. Okay. But between those two people, I made the decision that I needed, well, my grandma, right? So it took a couple people, but between those three people, I made the decision to try and get sober again. Now, do I still have control over other people? You bet I do. But it's in a good way. And I don't use this anymore to try and control or manipulate. Okay. But now I can't control what they're going to do or whatever, right? But what I can be is a really good example. That is what I can be. And then I got to do that kind of out loud so that other people can see it. Okay. I can't be a good example. You know, I'm kind of in a situation. I've gotten better, right? A year ago, I wasn't really getting out. Now I'm getting out of the house several times a week, and I'm growing and things are moving forward, right? And we can do these things. You can overcome these things. I don't want PTSD to control my life, right? Yeah, and I don't mind, Chris. I don't mind that people know the truth, because what that'll do is it'll give you the hope to share your truth also, and your truth will set you free, right? We alcoholics get a freedom. We get a joy that everybody else in the world doesn't get. Okay. I call it the warm blanket theory. It's the middle of the night and you wake up and your covers have fallen off you and you shaking because dad doesn't like the heat on at night, you know, and you can see your breath. I'm over exaggerating. Right. You take it and you put the blanket back over you and you get this sense of comfort almost immediately, right? And that warmth, okay. But you would have never felt that comfort unless you were freezing in the first place. And that is us. See, we understand a loneliness that few do, which means that we also understand a happiness, a joy, a sense of freedom that very few do. Okay. But it came at a price. There was a price. Yeah. The death of Mr. Hyde was the price. Yeah. Yeah. See, until we can be honest with ourselves, this means nothing. It's a great phrase, right? It is. The truth shall set you free. Your own truth. Your own truth. Not their truth, not their truth, not their truth, but my own. My own. And the truth is, I'm a person who can't handle alcohol. Okay. But that is like 3-4% of who I am. Okay. Am I an alcoholic? Yes. I'm also male. I'm also white. These are facts about me. I have a goatee right now. It's a fact. Okay. And that is just as much a part of me as anything else. Now, when I decide that alcoholism is going to be the main determinator of what I am, I have made that choice. Okay. I've made that choice. So let's do the daily reflections real quick. Why not? Actually, let's just go to page 225 and as Bill sees it, because that's where all the good stuff's at. All right, Ed, today. So. And then I skipped right past it. No, I wasn't right. I was guessing and I was incorrect. Is it 325? I know there's a 25 in there. I know 225. 225. I was at the right place? Okay. The answer in the mirror. While drinking, and this is out of page 12 by 12, page 37. While drinking, we were certain that our intelligence, backed by willpower, could rightly control our inner lives and guarantee us success in the world around us. This brave philosophy, wherein each man played God, sounded good in the speaking, but it still had to meet the acid test. How well did it actually work? One good look in the mirror was answer enough. Whew, there's nothing like playing God, and we're not God. You're just playing. There is no. Okay. I am not the Alpha. I am not the Omega. I'm another person in the herd. That's it. And that's okay. I want to be in the herd, just like everybody else. Yeah. Safe, protected, with my comrades. What better life could there be, man? You know, really. Because I spent a good portion of my life isolated and alone. Alone. Remember when you were drinking, how lonely it felt? You know? And we could have a Celebrate Dion Day at Mile High Stadium, fill it all the way up, and I'd still feel like the loneliest person in the world. I wouldn't believe a word that you said because I knew inwardly I didn't deserve a drop of it. That's why. That's why it felt so bad. All right. The next part is from Grapevine, written in January 1962. My spiritual awakening was electric, sudden, and absolutely convincing. At once, I became a part, if only a tiny part, of a cosmos that was ruled by justice and love in the person of God. I love justice. Justice just means it's the right thing. That's it. It's just the right thing. That way everybody can shake hands and walk away. You want to know why I have hard conversations? You want to know why I made hard conversations normal? I don't like conflict. I don't like it. So I take care of it immediately. I don't need conflict in the house. People need to wonder, you know. The thermostat's a great example. Okay, only two people in the house can touch the thermostat, and that's my son and myself. But we talk about it every time we move it. Hey, this is what's going on. He's like, well, I have it this way because of that, so that we understand what's going on. Otherwise, people will just get angry because over what? Control. And it's funny because I'll go up there and change it. My grandson will be like, you're not allowed to touch that. So at least we know that he knows that he's not allowed to touch it. Right? But I like how he's just like, you're not allowed to touch that. Like, stop it, buddy. No matter what had been the consequences of my own willful and ignorance or those of my fellow travelers on earth, this was still the truth. Such was the news and positive assurance, and this has never left me. So, all right, good stuff. I have several emails that I have to take care of. So, one is for the Al-Anon, the new podcast for the Pueblo Rescue Mission, and there's one other person. Oh, I reached out to Adams County Drug Court so that they know where we're at, so the club can be a little bit more in part with the community. Love you all. Peace out and have a day. I really do. I love you guys so much.